Hi, fellow traders. What's happening? I hope you guys are having a great weekend. I know I am. Great weather. My Gamecocks won yesterday. It's always a good weekend when they are able to win a game. Doesn't happen often, but makes for a really great weekend. Um, so today, I promised you guys that I was going to talk about making money with PDT. There's a lot of you traders who send me texts, sent me messages over the last couple of years saying, look, I don't want to open an offshore account. I'm not comfortable doing that. But I don't want to really get into this swing trading and holding it a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I want to be somewhat active in trading, active in the market for, a couple hours a day. I don't want to leave my job, and that's great. There's a lot of traders out here that really love what they do, and their job is their passion, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Teaching was my passion. I just happened to be able to merge teaching with trading, and I'm able to do everything. So, not everybody's able to do that. So there's nothing wrong with that, keeping your job and all of that. I made the decision that I was tired of living the way I was living. I wasn't going to be in a position to send my kids to school and, take the vacations that I wanted to take or anything. So I had to make a change. And a lot of you guys are in that situation, and things are different now than when I started. So we have to look at things differently. And making money with PDT, or PDT to me stands for pretty damn tired of hearing about it, but using the pattern day trader rule to our advantage is not something that people see or think about or anything like that. So that's the whole point of this, is to show you how you can use the PDT to your advantage, how it can help you develop into a solid trader, and how you can actually make money using it, that you don't have to wait. For me, starting out, if I had to wait until I made 25 grand, I never would have made it. Never would have. So, we're going to talk about that. I know I wanted to start this earlier. I had a couple of irons in the fire that evidently the fire has burned out. So I'm going to go ahead and do this the way I planned on doing it, in the beginning. So I know you guys, a lot of you already know what the PDT is, but there's some things that I want to clarify. There's some things that you may not know that I'm going to share with you. So bear with me in the beginning. And I'm going to talk about how this is going to go. This is not a challenge. You guys know I don't believe in games. I don't believe in challenges. This is real life. This is the real deal. We don't play here. So I'm going to talk to you about how that's going to go down. It's all going to be, part of our community, because I believe the real classroom is the chat room. That's where real learning takes place. That's where the rubber meets the road. And that's where you can see everything that you're learning come to pass. So that's where the focus is going to be. But before we get started, I'm going to close out last week real quick, and then we'll get into making money with the PDT. So please bear with me for a second. Thursday was another sell day. We expected it, and I wasn't looking long on anything. I was looking short, and found this KSS. We don't have a lot of earnings coming up, and you guys know earnings are my number one catalyst. I'm an earnings trader. Earnings are going to be a big part of this PDT deal. Earnings, IPOs, things like that, that we don't typically, some of the things we don't typically do in day trading, that's going to be, a big part of what we do in PDT trading. So, but earnings is my number one catalyst. We don't have a whole lot of that. So I go to analyst upgrades and downgrades. KSS had a downgrade, if I'm not mistaken. And so that was my number one focus here. So here's the open. Again, I'm pretty aggressive when the market's really slow like this. You kind of have to get your money early and then settle in from there. So as soon as we broke the pre-market low, I got in. Here's a 5-minute open range low. Kind of short shifted here. My first target should have been 47. I kind of short shifted and took it at 47.50ish. And that was kind of a mental error here. This should have been my first target. The level. This is the first pivot that we get to. Nothing in here. There was nothing in here. But I ended up kind of splitting this up. And my final target was going to be this 46.15 level here. And I put it at 46.25 and ended up getting a couple of cents to the positive. I love getting positive slippage. But perfect trade. Exactly what I wanted out of this. I just messed up the first cover. But that's fine. This blue line is a linear regression channel on the 60-minute chart. So if I was going to split this, I would have had taken profit here, taken a little bit more off here, and then finished it here. So you can see that's the execution error that I had here. But still made some decent money on it. Almost $500. This should have been a $500 to $600 trade, but just short shifted it here. So closing out the month of September, solid. The month of September was the slowest in terms of growth in the indices. But in terms of day trading, none of that stuff matters. There's always opportunities. It's just a matter of being in the right place at the right time. So closing out September strong, closing out the third quarter, strong. It's going to be slow to start out the fourth quarter, no doubt about that. But that's just the way it is. I mean, there's no way around that. So we're going to continue pushing. Now look for this to flatten out for the next week or two. And when earnings kicks off, should start pushing up again. So look for something like this. Hopefully not this, but some slowing down of the curve. And that's 100% expected right now, leading into earnings. So, PDT trader. Like I said, bear with me. There may be some things, a lot of this you may know. There may be some things that you don't know. And I know there's one that a lot of people really, they don't realize this is part of it. But the pattern day trader rule, it came into play in 2001 by the SEC, about 2 years after I opened my first account. I had no idea what any of this crap was. Like I said, there was no education. All I was doing was trying to go by what I learned in high school. And obviously that didn't really do much. But the SEC and FINRA, put this out. It's only in effect in the U.S. So if you live in Canada or anywhere else outside of the U.S., you don't really have to worry about this. But the strategies in this is something that everybody can use. Okay, everybody. If you're not into day trading, you don't want to be here every day, all day, this is going to be the strategy that's going to help you. These strategies, this process. So this is what they laid out, is that the purpose behind the rule is to protect brokerage firms and retail traders from margin calls and excessive losses as a result of day trading activities. Now, we know if you're uneducated and undisciplined, you can lose a shit ton of money day trading. You can lose your whole account in a matter of hours. All right, trying to day trade. There's no way there's no other way you can put it. And you have to accept the fact that that is a big possibility. I don't know if a lot of people were doing it back then, if there was a bubble that burst or whatever, and it caused a lot of people to go under. I don't know. I wasn't really locked in 2001 when this thing came about, but it's something that I feel it does make sense when you think about it. Now, yeah, it kind of takes away it's like it's my money, so if I want to lose it, I should be able to lose it. I look at it that way too. They shouldn't have any say-so over, how I spend my money. So it's no different than me doing it here or going to Vegas and throwing it all away. But that's a discussion for another day. So what does the rule actually mean? The FINRA rule defines a pattern day trader as any customer who executes 4 or more day trades within 5 business days, provided that the number of day trades represents more than 6% of the customer's total trades in the margin account for that same 5 business day period. 6% of the total trades and margin account. Those are the key takeaways here. So obviously, if you go in and out of multiple trades a day, it's gonna be more than 6% of your total trades. So that's not something you even have to worry about. The margin account is where the PDT falls. If you have a margin account, then they're going to look at you as a pattern day trader. Now, here's the thing. If you have a cash account and you take day trades, and let's say, you have $10,000 in your cash account and you're taking, 10 day trades a week, you're not using all of your buying power, you're trading really small, and you go to open a margin account, they'll probably flag you if you just switch it to a margin account and you've been actively trading. So you gotta kind of sit tight for a week and then apply for the margin account. I didn't think about that until somebody did it, and that was one of the things that the broker came out. Now, another thing I found out is that brokers have different interpretations of the same rule, which makes absolutely no damn sense, but they do. So traders should note that this rule is a minimum requirement and that some broker-dealers use a slightly broader definition determining whether a customer qualifies as a pattern day trader. So this is the textbook explanation of what I just told you. Okay, I would recommend that traders contact their brokerage firms to determine whether a broader definition applies to their trading activities. So you can have one broker that you switch to a margin account. Doesn't matter how many day trades you did that prior week. If you want to switch it, there's no issue. You're not flagged yet. Then you automatically have 3 day trades that you could actively do before you're frozen. So traders should note, again, that's the brokers can really twist this thing around. There's some brokers that say even in a cash account you can only do 3 day trades. So I mean, it's really crazy. So one of the things I recommend is that you get with your broker and find out what they have in terms of their rule package. So a broker may also designate a trader as a pattern day trader if it knows or has reasonable basis to believe that he or she will engage in pattern day trading. Goes back to what I just said. If they see you do that in a cash account, they'll have reasonable basis to believe that you're going to engage in it. Therefore, they can designate you as a pattern day trader and say, hey, you cannot day trade, or you can't trade in a margin account until you get 25K. That's what that means. If you're flagged as a pattern day trader, you cannot trade in a margin account unless you have 25K. So this is saying, again, that even if you have 10K and you say, I don't want a pattern day trade, they can flag you as that. Let's say you took classes like PDT, like TD Ameritrade has education packages. Let's say you took day trading classes from TD Ameritrade, and they say, well, I know you're going to be a day trader because you took these classes. So if you want a margin account, you got to have 25K. If not, well, you're going to have to deal with a cash account. So that's something a lot of people didn't know. And again, it just depends on the broker. Your broker may not do that, and the next guy's broker may. So textbook definition of a day trade is when you buy and sell the same security on the same day in a margin account. So let's say you bought some the night before, and then you come in pre-market and you buy some more, and then you sell half of it, halfway through the day, or sell half of it on the opening move. You just created a day trade. Doesn't matter if you opened it the day before. When you bought more of the same security, it became a day trade if you sold some of it. Now let's say at the end of the day you sell the rest of it. Now you've got 2 day trades. You've killed two day trades. So you only got 1 left. All right, so you have to make sure you understand, anytime you buy and sell the same security in the same day, in a margin account, it counts as a day trade. And if you scale out, each one will count as a day trade. All right, and this is any security or stock or option. And vice versa, if you short, the same thing. If you short some the night before, then you short more that next morning pre-market, then you cover twice that day, that's 2 day trades. Okay, exception to this rule includes a long position held overnight, sold the next morning, prior to any new purchases of the same stock. All right, so let's say I hold a position overnight on earnings, like you're going to see us do. A stock reports earnings, it makes a move, we buy it on a pullback, we hold it overnight, the next morning it's gapped up pre-market, and we sell it. Or we sell half. Okay? Now, if we decide to buy more at the open, that's not a day trade. Okay? Because we sold some before we bought some more. That's not a day trade. So I know it can get kind of confusing, but you'll see as we do this, you'll see that it's not going to count as a day trade. And vice versa if it's a short position. So we all know minimum equity is $25K. We all know that. A trader who is designated as a pattern day trader may trade up to 4 times your maintenance margin excess as of the close of business of the previous day. If a trader exceeds this buying power, you're going to get a margin call. And basically, and you guys should know, if you have a margin account, typically like what IB, that's the broker we're going to be using, you get 4-to-1. All right. Once the market is closed, you only get 2-to-1. You're only going to be able to carry 2-to-1 overnight. So, if we're trading in a PDT account, all right, and we go over our overnight margin, the broker will issue a margin call and you have a day trade. If you sit there and think that if the broker issues a margin call and closes out some of your position, that is not going to count, it will count. It will count as a day trade. All right, so they typically will close it out. Now, some brokers, as you see here, will issue a margin call and say, hey, you have 5 days to bring your account up, or we're going to restrict your account from here on out. They can do that. But most of all of the dealers that I deal with, all of the brokers, they will close out your trade, or they'll take whatever they need to take out to bring your account within margin. They actually do it for you. All right, so what is the first question that we ask once we find out about the PDT rule? This was me. When I found out about it, what was the first question I asked? How do we get around it? All right, so you can open several margin accounts. You can open several cash accounts. Now that I've been in it for a while, that was probably the worst question that I could have asked. I should have asked it as, how can I use it? How can I use it to my advantage, being that I only have $1,500 to start trading with? At that time, there were better options. Now, you really don't see it. But you can open several margin accounts. like you could, if you have 10,000, you could do 5,000 in one, 5,000 in another, and you can have 6-day trades, but you're limiting your ability. Okay. When you have a smaller account, you have to be more selective. You're looking for stocks that can make larger moves. So you could get in one trade, catch a large enough move so you don't have to take multiple trades. It's basically what we're going to be looking to do. You can open several cash accounts and kind of do the same thing. You can open an offshore account. Now, this is what I did back when SureTrader was in business. And in the beginning, they were great. Okay, yeah, they had a customer service issue, but they were great. They were expensive, but just like somebody that has bad credit, credit's going to be more expensive to you. And so somebody that had less money that had to open up this type of account, the risk is greater. So they're going to charge you more. I mean, it only makes sense. But, and even now, if you're in an offshore account like I think CMEG, you're going to pay a little bit more. Now, you may get to the point where you can get some discounts through them and all of that, but you're going to pay a little bit more. Not as bad as it was before, but you will. The problem is having an offshore account is going to bring in some tax issues that you need to be aware of and all of that good stuff if you're in the United States. You can trade in a prop firm. What prop firms do is they typically, you pay them so much money. They give you training. They let you trade in a simulator for a month or 3 to make sure that you know how to be profitable. A lot of people never make it to trading the prop firm's money because they're never able to prove that they're profitable. But that's typically the way it works. You put in, let's say, $5,000. They train you. They give you so much money. After you complete their training, you trade their money. You get a percentage of what you make. That allows you to get over the PDT. You can day trade freely and all that good stuff. And I know this isn't a textbook answer, but that's just kind of just trying to give a little easy definition there. You can trade futures or Forex. You don't have to deal with PDT with those. But for a new trader or inexperienced trader, I do not recommend the last two. Okay, you still need to learn how to trade. And that's the whole key. And that's one of the big positives that we could look at, because the PDT forces you to be focused. Okay, I feel it should be considered a friend. In the beginning, I didn't. I'm not going to lie to you. I had every negative feeling about it, like everybody else does when they come in and you find out that this is a tool that limits you and you feel like it's just trying to keep you down. But it's actually a very valuable tool. If you look at it right, it's a very valuable tool because it will protect you from yourself. If you use it correctly, it will protect you from yourself. It will force you to slow down and take a good look at what you're doing. All right. If you use it correctly, it can help you develop the patience and discipline that you will need as you progress as a trader. It's just like anything else. Any other tool that you use, if you use it correctly, you're going to get the job done right. If you don't use it correctly, if you use a screwdriver to pry stuff, most of the time you're going to break the tip off the screwdriver. You may injure yourself. You may damage whatever you're using it for. If you use pliers instead of a wrench, you can strip the bolt and take it to where if you ever got a wrench, you wouldn't be able to get the bolt off. It's like anything else. Use PDT the right way. It can be a very valuable tool to you. And that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be using the PDT to help us make money. You can grow your account trading on the PDT. Just like anything else. Anything else in trading, how can you do it? Same way you do everything else. By employing the right process. Everything in trading is about process. If you have the right process, you can do it. It's not hard. That's what we're going to be working on this next quarter. And like I said, you give me 6 months, I can help you change your life. An honest 6 months. I have to specify that. Honest. You can't cheat. If you try to cheat the grind, it's going to tell on you and you're not going to get through it. You can't cheat the grind. This is not about making a winning trade, here or there, and then at the end of the month, your account's still the same, hasn't grown. That's not what this is about. This is about continuing to grow your account. Making those good trades, but not forcing the issue when there's not anything there. Okay? If you sit and don't do anything and in 1 week make $3,000, are you going to be mad that there were no trades the other weeks? Why would you? So it's about employing the right process and making sure you stick to it. So this is what we're going to be doing. This is what it's going to include. We're going to talk about how to find the right stocks to trade, the specific strategies to trade, how to plan the trades, how to execute the trades, and how to manage your risk. Yeah, we're going to, they're going to be classes. There's going to be a class on how to do all of this stuff. But again, the real learning is going to take place in the chat room because that's when you see us execute stuff. Early and late. We don't fool around in the middle of the day. When you're trading with PDT, you don't fool around in the middle of the day. You set yourself up early or you set yourself up late. So in the middle of the day, if you're working, go to work, do your stuff, do your work. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff. You don't have to worry about the swings and all of that stuff. Trying to trade all of that. So again, using the right process, it's going to get you there. So if anybody has any questions, shoot me an email, ed@averagejoetrader.com. If you want to join in on this, like I said, give me an average, give me an honest 6 months. An honest 6 months. And you go to the website, it's Roadmap to Success. It is going up. I haven't changed the price yet. It's still $249. It's going up to $299. probably by the end of the day. But it's 6 months. You get access to the live education room, chat room, where you see me trade live in real time every day. Is this PDT thing is not going to be any different. All the live classes I have, the vast member video library that I have, you'll see that in a minute. You get an hour a month of one-on-one mentoring time. When you run into issues, this is where this comes into play. We don't have to go back and forth emailing or anything. We can meet one-on-one, share screens. We're going too fast. Share screens and all that stuff. You have access to my trade ideas and scanner settings. I don't use trade ideas anymore, but I still have all of my scanner settings. If you still have it, they tried to screw me over, so I left them hanging. I have a weekly market analysis and swing trading newsletter. That's about to go out in a minute. I have an earnings newsletter. You guys know I'm a big earnings trader. That's going to come in. We're going to add to this. We're going to have a IPO newsletter. That's going to be part of the PDT. That's not something that's part of anything else we do. And any proprietary information that I have, you're going to get. So, all of this for 6 months, $2.99 for 6 months. I don't think you can beat it anywhere. This is the video library that we have. Roadmap to success. This is where you're going to start. We've got the trader's mindset. These are the trading psychology videos that we have. Then the day trading, swing trading. These are some extra classes that we had this year that we added to the roadmap to success. All of the education webinars, small account program. These are the archive classes, the older classes. The trader tax course we did. And Own the Change, which is another motivational series. All of these things you get access to. Ton of videos. So again, if you have any questions, just shoot me an email, ed@averagejoetrader.com. We're getting started tomorrow, and we're going to hit this 4th quarter running. So you guys have a great rest of the weekend, and I will catch up with you tomorrow.